Welcome to the Town of Avon Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. If you are interested in having a copy of the agenda or the staff reports, they are available on the tables to the right of the audience. This meeting is being recorded for the public record. Because of this, request that personal conversations are kept to a minimum and cell phones are set to vibrate with any phone calls taken outside of the chambers. If you are interested in commenting during any public hearing, please sign up on the sheets located on the tables to the right of the audience. When your name is called, please step forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Please address your comments to the board and not to staff or the appellant. Your comments should relate directly to the case at hand. We do understand that there may be several persons who wish to speak. The chair may therefore impose a time limit for each person. Federal law requires that the town make available to all attendees a Title VI public involvement survey. These surveys are on the table to the right of the audience. Members of the public who wish to complete this survey may do so and place them in the designated area. If because of a disability, any person in attendance needs assistance or accommodation to fully participate in this meeting, please notify staff. Thank you for your assistance in facilitating a respectful, fair, and timely meeting. Again, welcome to our meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a roll call, please?
Marcus Turner,
Here.
Ann Inman,
Here.
Catherine Ransberg,
Here.
Marcy Tashler,
Here.
Paul Guckenberger, absent.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from December 19th, 2023. Did anyone have any comments or concerns?
Dan, should we do election of officers before approval of minutes, correct? Yep. So election of officers was left off the agenda inadvertently, so we'll need to add that to the agenda before we approve minutes.
That's next on the agenda under requests for continuances and modifications. That's item 3 on the agenda.
No, not election of officers.
It's an agenda modification.
Okay, technically, that's correct.
We all good? Dan? Okay. If there are no questions or comments on the minutes, we'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the minutes of 12/19 as written.
Motion by Mrs. Inman. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Mrs. Ransberg. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Minutes are passed. Now we have requests for continuances and agenda modifications. Ian?
Yes, we will need to add election of officers to the agenda, as previously stated. That was inadvertently left off since this is our first meeting of the year.
We'll entertain a motion to amend the agenda.
I move that we amend the agenda to allow for elections.
A motion by Mrs. Inman,
A second.
second by Mrs. Ransberg. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Now the next item is election of officers. And we do not need seconds for nominations, so we will open up the floor for nominations for president.
I nominate Marcus Turner to be president.
I agree.
Are there any other nominations? Then we'll close the nominations. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Next item is for vice president.
I move that Ann Inman be vice president.
Any other nominations? All in favor, Ann Inman? Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, and then our secretary will open up nominations for that. That's traditionally been Ian.
I nominate Ian Laura.
Okay, any other nominations? We'll close the nominations. All in favor of Ian?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Very good. Were there any other items, Ian?
No.
Okay.
No other items.
Moving on to public comment. Does anyone wish to speak? And we will close public comment. We have no old business. And under new business, our first item is special exception 23-05 Brewster's Ice Cream Drive-Thru. Yeah.
Sure, we just have one special exception on the agenda today. That is SC 2305 Brewster's Ice Cream. It's a request for approval of a special exception to allow for a drive-through use within Tier 1 of the US Highway 36 Overlay Zoning District, as required by that overlay. It's located at 50 South Avon Avenue. It's Lot 2 of the Jenkins Commercial Plat. It's 1.1 acre parcel, and we'll take a look at where that is here. So here it is, just along Avon Avenue, just south of US Highway 36 at the intersection of Avon Avenue and Galen Drive. It's zoned C2, and the large majority of the parcel and almost the entirety of the building is inside that Tier 1. So thus requiring the special exception for the drive-through. There's no significant planning history associated with this parcel. Again, it was platted as part of the Jenkins Commercial Subdivision with MAPP 9912. There has been a recent update. A development plan review has been applied for at this time, so that is currently in process. They just went to TAC and received their first round of comments regarding that development plan. But before that development plan can get approved, they must first get their special exception. So, as I said, it's a request to approve a special exception for a drive-through in Tier 1 of the 36 overlay. Chapter 10.2E of the Town of Avon Development Ordinance states that drive-through facilities are permitted only by special exception in the US 36 overlay. Again, the parcel doesn't front directly on 36, but a large portion of that lot is still within that overlay. The conceptual site plan provided as part of this request does substantially comply with the standards of the UDO as it relates to drive-through. At the time that I had created this slide, it did. We did go through that development plan, so there's been a little more scrutiny that's been applied. But again, we're not here to scrutinize the site itself, just whether it meets those 5 criteria. Again, we looked at drive-through elements in the side and rear yard, which it meets there. It has a bypass lane. The lane width of the drive-through is adequate. So here's the site itself. Gaining access off of US 36 here. There is a private drive at the southern end of the lot to connect to the Stanfield Crossing development that's occurring right now. The drive-through comes from the north downwards and towards the east there. Has the bypass lane adjacent to the drive-through there. The order menu is here, again, outside of the front yard, located in the rear yard. We find that the proposal meets all the required findings of fact for a drive-through special exception, and we do recommend approval of the special exception request, subject to no conditions. So with that, I am available for questions.
Staff.
So this property is directly across the street from Frostbite, which also has a drive-through.
That's correct.
And I live very close to there and may or may not frequent Frostbite on a regular basis. So has there been any conversation with regards to, I know that right now there can frequently be traffic backed up going south from 36 almost to the Frostbite entrance or even to the roundabout, depending upon the time of day, but even if it's not like during school let out. And this second drive-through directly west from Frostbite, was there any conversation with regards to the additional traffic that could be created, I mean, as a, just a merging of extra traffic happening at that point?
Yes, so there are current plans for improvements to Avon Avenue. I believe it's a requirement of this DPR there to dedicate 60 feet from the center line. I'm not sure at this moment how much is already dedicated to the town, but there are plans to widen this section of Avon Avenue, as well as require a ride-in, ride-out only here, no longer allowing people to go left there. So
So they would have to go right and then hit the
take the
roundabout
roundabout.
to go north?
That's correct, yes.
Okay,
So yes, there's much thought being given to this section of Avon Avenue.
okay.
Good.
Any other questions for staff? We already hear from petitioner.
Good evening. My name is Brian Munch. I'm with Munch Engineering. Office is located at 4,000 Clarks Creek Avenue, or excuse me, Clarks Creek Road in Plainfield, Indiana. I get the privilege tonight to present to this board, and with me in attendance is the owners of the property, or soon-to-be owners of the Brewster's Ice Cream, hopefully as we navigate through the Avon permit process. As Ian referenced, we have applied for development plan review. There are some things that are minor or fairly significant that do not impact this BZA hearing tonight. The orientation of the facility has stayed the same. But the development plan review has, as Ian mentioned, got into a little bit more details, such as, some foundation planning, so on and so forth, and moving forward. We're not here to hear that case tonight. We're here to present to the special exception, allowing for a drive-through in the overlay district. Staff did a very good job presenting the case to you. I'm more here tonight to answer any questions that you may have specifically for us as the design engineer or the potential owners of the Brewster's Ice Cream.
Before we get any questions, let's go ahead and open up the public hearing. It's 6:44. Is anyone signed up to speak?
Vijay Patel.
Please come forward, state your name and address for the record, please.
Okay, my name is Vijay Patel, and I'm from the Frostbite, 7025 Gillen Drive. And we like to say only the one, our side, the point of view is that the both are similar businesses and is exactly opposite side of the roads. But I don't know what exactly the need to be look over here. The other point is that we both businesses are very, very similar, both ice cream, and we are there for the long time and serving to the customers. So that's the only one point from our side.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is anyone else signed up to speak?
Yeah, so I just want to. Hi, my name is Manoj, and I represent the Brewster's Ice Cream, and I'm planning to build this business in
What is your
Avon.
address, sir?
2406 Sandy Drive, Avon. So I just want to reiterate to Vijay that, like, even if it's the ice cream business, the product we are offering is completely different. Even if it sounds like ice cream, they have ice cream along with some fries and some chicken and all that stuff. I am going to serve only ice cream, and we have like a large line of vegan ice creams apart from for the people having allergies and all that stuff. So I just want to reiterate that, like, even if it's like the similar business, but not same exactly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else signed up to speak?
Seth. Seth.
No, thank you.
That is all.
Okay. And this is the last call. Would anyone else like to speak? Then we will close the public hearing at 6:46. Questions, discussion?
Mr. Taylor, can you remind us, is there anything in the ordinances that would allow us to make a decision based upon similar businesses being located next to each other?
There's not. In fact, there's a case that we talk about at training in which the Indiana Supreme Court said that it is not the purpose of local zoning jurisdictions to pick winners and losers in business, to allow either encourage competition or discourage competition. That's not something that you can take into account. It's not our role. Our role is simply about land use and the rules that we impose regarding its design. And so we are specifically forbidden by the courts from addressing or concerning ourselves with, which what is surely a legitimate concern, but it's just not our concern. Our focus, you have on, as a special exception, you have your 7 factors, I'm sorry, 9 factors. And the staff has analyzed each one of those. And particularly on drive-throughs where we have many in Tier 1 in this town, there are some things we're supposed to look for. We're primarily concerned about shielding of lights, as you know, we don't want that to face 36. And then we are also concerned about traffic circulation. I think staff did an outstanding job of analyzing those, and there are, for a special exception, the longest list of factors, but you will not find in there, nor should there be any consideration of how approval of the drive-through might affect any other businesses. Thank you.
I think staff has done a really excellent job as usual, thank you, of, presenting the arguments as to why we should support this. I certainly can appreciate the members' concern about having a competing business directly across the street. That's certainly not illegitimate, and I certainly understand that. And thank you, Mr. Taylor, for clarifying for us that that's not something that we are to take into consideration.
And I'll agree. I think staff has done a pretty job of covering all 9 criteria in here. It's, at least per their report, it's pretty clear cut.
If I may interject, the appellant does have the opportunity to rebut after public comment. So if they would like to, they have the opportunity to do so.
No rebuttal. I'm not legal counsel. I'm an engineer. Your counsel did an excellent job explaining the situation.
Any other discussion or questions?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I move that we approve SE 2305, a special exception to allow for a drive-through use in Tier 1 of the US Highway 36 Overlay Zoning District, since it has satisfied all the requirements for special exceptions under state law and subject to the approved findings of fact.
A motion by Mrs. Ransberg. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mrs. Tashler. Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Marcus Turner,
4.
Ann Inman,
4.
Catherine Ransberg,
4.
Marcy Tashler.
4.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ian, do we have any other business tonight?
No other business on my end.
And with that, we're adjourned. Thank you.